What's up? What is good? Your favorite procrastinator is back. You know what I mean? It's kind of early in the morning. To be fair, it's about to be 12 a.m. Definitely early for me, but we're back with Be Amazed. Embarrassingly dumb ways people have died. Darwin Award winners part 15. You know what I mean? I just did part 14. You know what I mean? I put the little shit on the shit. You know what I mean? Go watch it if you want if you didn't see my other ones. You know what I mean? I got a whole playlist too of these. I don't know what else to say. But without further ado, let's get it.
Well, here we are again. How many episodes has it been now? 10, 12? Wait, 15?
Hell yeah.
Seriously? 15 whole videos dedicated to people who have protected our gene pool by removing themselves from it in the most idiotic ways possible? And there's still no end in sight? Wow. I guess human stupidity really
My fault about that. Just wanted to make sure my audio and shit was recording properly.
doesn't know any bounds. With that, let's take a look at even more Darwin Award winners and the ridiculous ways they achieved their prize. Florida Man down. Back in June 2022, over in Largo, Florida, a couple
Okay, so first things first, this happened. I mean, my birthday month in June last year. I ain't gonna lie, Florida. It's a nice state. I ain't gonna lie. Definitely like a nice state, beautiful like little scenery. You got like your little beaches. You got like the little bridges you can cross with like the ocean like right there. Like I like it. It's pretty damn nice outside of the goddamn weather. That's the only thing I'm gonna complain about Florida is the goddamn weather. If it had some consistent weather, I would have been straight. But nope.
of people were enjoying a round of frisbee golf in a local park. What, you don't know the time-honored game of frisbee golf? As the name suggests, it's like golf, but instead of a ball, you have a frisbee, and instead of holes, you have these basket things. A more weirdly American sport has never existed, and I've been to a hot dog eating contest. Anyways, the game was progressing.
Fucking Joey Chestnut out here. Shout out to the hot dog eating contest champ. I think like that man's like 13-time champion or some shit. I don't know. I just threw a random number out there.
Progressing pretty normally when someone accidentally flung their frisbee off course into a nearby lake. Now, Florida is famously home to some 1.25 million alligators, and because of this, almost every body of fresh water across the state has signs warning people not to step.
That's also another reason, low key. I don't want to wake up one day and then just have like a fucking alligator in my backyard. That's not like, yeah, I mean something I want to deal with.
In the water, lest they fancy becoming an alligator snack. Despite this, a gentleman who we'll call Florida Man decided in his infinite wisdom to wade right on in and grab the disc. Gators be damned. This was not his first time in the waters, though. He'd repeatedly waded into this lake in the past to fetch lost frisbees and resell them back to their owners, despite being warned not.
Resell them. I mean that's kind of fucked up, don't you think? Yeah, that's definitely kind of fucked up. I mean, I'm on the alligator side here.
Not to do so multiple times. But this would be the last time he got to pull this ploy, because before he could find the frisbee,
Yep.
an alligator found him. Well, all I can say is if you play stupid games, like fetching frisbees from alligator-infested waters, you win stupid prizes, like being eaten by alligators. Superior idiot energy. Back in August 2021, a gentleman from Southampton in the UK decided he wanted to try out paddleboarding for the first time.
Doggy.
He'd carefully researched all the equipment he needed, bought a few boards and paddles for himself and his family, and then headed to a beach in Hampshire. He'd specifically chosen this beach because he knew the waters would be calmer, giving him a better chance to get to grips with the board. All seems like a very sensible, logical way to go about things, doesn't it?
Okay.
That is, until you learn that this guy couldn't swim.
Did accidentally scared my dog by doing that. My fault. I can't swim, so like, yeah. I mean, I don't feel bad for this guy at all. Ain't like paddleboarding though. What's the thing you got like the little like shit? It's like a little like clamp or something, string that's like attached to your ankle or some shit like that. So like you're always connected to the board. I'm pretty sure that's like surfboarding. Is it? Somebody let me know. I don't know. But it's like a little like rope thingy. Or like a little, I don't know. But it attaches to like your leg so you stay attached to the shit. Somebody let me know please, because that's going to drive me fucking crazy now.
So he hadn't bothered to put on a life jacket. And then, to add the cherry on top of this idiot's sundae, he'd paddled more than half a mile out into open water.
Let's just safe to say bro was probably possibly suicidal, because I don't know what else to think about that.
Where, when he tried to turn the board around, he suddenly fell off. Unable to get a grip on the board, his inability to swim, and the lack of a body-affixed flotation device ended up causing his demise. To make matters worse, his wife claimed that the lack of Coast Guards on the beach was the main reason he didn't survive. While that may be a part of it, I'm pretty sure a fatal lack of common sense was more to blame here.
Yeah.
Hot stuff. I love me a good barbecue. The only part I don't enjoy is waiting for the coals to be hot enough to cook on. Yeah, I know, it only takes like 15 minutes to light him up and get him scorching hot, but this little fatty wants his burger now.
Yeah. No cap though. I'm 100% would be amazed on this one.
Want it now!
And it turns out I'm not the only impatient one. Back in July 2022, a man from Erfstadt, Germany was driving along when all of a sudden he lost consciousness. His car came to a stop when it hit the side of a house and the local fire brigade was called. They assumed this guy had fallen asleep at the wheel and caused the accident, but when they got there, the unmistakable smell of charcoal filled their noses. And when they opened the back doors of the car, out fell several small barbecue grills with glowing coals still in them.
I'm not even gonna cap. That's different. I'm not even gonna cap. This man trying to make a whole barbecue. See, you didn't, like, maybe this guy didn't think, like, get a pickup truck, do that, get a friend to drive while you grill in the back or something, maybe. I don't know. I'm not the smartest guy here, but I could have definitely thought of, like, a better way to do this. Maybe have the windows down so, like, the smoke don't obviously choke you out. What do I know? I'm just a guy. I don't know.
After extinguishing the coals, the firefighters found beer, speakers, beer benches, and crockery inside. It turned out the idiot driving was a cook who supposedly gave barbecue seminars. Apparently in a rush to get from one appointment to the next, he hadn't bothered to extinguish the still glowing coals in the kettle grills, which he loaded into the back of his car. Now, when they're burning, coals release a colorless and odorless toxic gas called carbon monoxide, even when they're not smoking, which is why having a coal barbecue in an enclosed space is always a bad idea. After a while, this guy's car had filled up with the toxic gas, causing him to pass out and crash. Clearly, his barbecue course didn't cover the basics of barbecue safety.
Kind of funny. I said stupid and Gordon Ramsay popped up right there.
Amateur. Caffeine. In the big buff world of gym bros, taking a pre-workout supplement is currently all the rage. A single serving contains everything you need to boost your energy levels and get your buzz on, including vitamins, carbohydrates, and around 175 milligrams of the stimulant caffeine, about the same amount you'd find in 4 cups of coffee. Now that's liquid motivation. However, these supplements can be expensive, so some people resort to just buying caffeine powder and making their own liquid get-up-and-go juice. At least that's what one man in the UK tried to do back in 2022.
Look at this bloke. Look at this bloke. Out here just making his own shit. I don't know. Listen. I don't have proper terms for shit. And I'm not trying to say the wrong thing and then YouTube comes get me again. I don't want to get got no more.
He'd bought some caffeine powder to add to his homemade pre-workout drink, and because it hadn't come with a measuring cup or scoop, he decided to use some basic kitchen scales to measure out 300 milligrams of the stuff.
Oh no.
That's about 6.5 very strong coffees. Definitely not advised, though not necessarily a fatal.
I got a story. I can't tell y'all right now because it's still like kind of fresh. Y'all don't know the person. I just don't feel like putting that person's business out there right now. But it does involve coffee and hot chocolate. I'll let y'all put two and two together. I mean, y'all could decide that.
Dose. But the scales he was using weren't in milligrams.
Coca.
They were in grams. The lowest weight he could measure on them was more than 6 times the maximum recommended.
This motherfucker had 300. What the fuck does that even do to you? I mean, we're about to find out, but like, bruh, I'm pretty sure his heart just stopped.
Dose. And it's believed, without realizing the metrics were wrong, he measured out close to 300 grams,
Just go
more
to the
than
gym.
200 coffees worth of caffeine, and consumed it. Within minutes, he was on the floor in the grips of a severe caffeine overdose, one he didn't survive. Now, the caffeine levels in the blood of a person who drank 1 cup of coffee would be 2 to 4 milligrams per liter of blood. A post-mortem revealed that this guy's caffeine levels were 392 milligrams per liter. So this one goes out to all the gym lovers out there. Double, triple,
Just hit the weights. Eat fruits, eat vegetables. I mean, whatever that shit is to make you like buffer, like potatoes and steak. Like, eat all that, man. I ain't gonna lie, that got me kind of like upset because like, guy's a fucking idiot. As I drink my green tea with dignity, because I can't OD on green tea. You can OD on caffeine. Plot twist, people.
quadruple check your supplement
Drink
metrics.
green tea.
Or be like me and stick to having a pre-workout coffee on the couch. And then staying there. Much safer. Poor life choo-choo choices.
Is this Carson Wentz? Somebody let me know if this is Carson Wentz. It looks like Carson Wentz.
It's not just consuming self-made workout energy drinks that'll earn you a Darwin Award, though. Advertising them can result in an equally dumb demise, if this next entrant is anything to go by. Back in January 2015, a male fitness model in Burbank, California, decided he wanted to shoot a promotional video for an energy drink company he'd co-founded. But instead of shooting something like a big burly guy in a gym lifting weights with one hand and chugging his energy drink with another, our man wanted something different. He wanted to really train. No, sorry, I read that wrong. He wanted real trains. He planned to make it look like drinking this drink would give you the power to outrace a literal train. The only problem is that a shoot like this is expensive and requires a lot of paperwork.
Hell yeah.
But going for a more brawn over brain approach, our man figured he and his team could just trespass onto a restricted area of the Metrolink tracks and shoot the commercial hassle-free. His plan was to run on a set of tracks that were parallel to the trains coming up behind him, so shot from the side it would only look like he was running ahead of the train. But here's the kicker. This particular section of railway was on a blind bend, so until the train was around the corner, there was no way of knowing which set of tracks it would be using. Nevertheless, our model man shouted action and started running, with the train quickly catching up behind him. Despite the blaring sound of the train's horn, our man just kept running in a straight line until the train ran over.
Bruh, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you cannot be this fucking stupid. You cannot be this fucking stupid. If you, like, where is, like, the natural instinct to, like, stay alive? Where does that come into play with, like, half these people? Like, this guy right here. If I heard that, my anxiety would be through the fucking roof to the point I would jump off the track. Like, what the fuck? My legs would force me off the track. Just because I want to live still. I'm telling you, half these people are probably, like, suicidal. Like, that's honestly the only way I could put it. It may not look like it, but, yo. Like, up here, I don't think a lot of people got anything up here, man. That shit is scary. That shit just made me, like, snap a little bit. I don't like it.
Over him. Would this be a bad time to mention that semi-realistic CGI effects are pretty cheap these days? Like, I know a guy who'll edit you into a train chase scene for like $20. No, sorry. I was too busy over here flexing my brain, not my muscles. Protein powder problems. What? Another Gym Bro workout supplement related
Oh,
story?
yeah.
Don't mind if I do.
Hell yeah.
Back
come
in
on.
February 2022, early in the morning, a young
I ain't gonna lie. I've been like, I do want to start going to the gym at one point. Like, start. I mean, not to say I'm gonna become like a fucking fitness channel, but I do want to start pushing positive shit. I guess if that makes sense. It's all like I got a lot of shit in the works that y'all will see eventually.
man was driving along a road on the outskirts of San Diego. Without warning, he veered off to the side of the road, hitting a parked vehicle and causing a
How?
6-car pileup.
How?
Okay, at this point, I want you to take a guess at why he veered off the road. Was he looking at his phone? Had he fallen asleep? Was he attempting to open a packet of protein powder, take out a scoop and pour it into a cup of water he had in his lap while mixing it with a knife?
I'm gonna say that one.
Well, if you guessed that last one, give yourself a cookie. When rescuers arrived at the scene, they opened the guy's door to find protein powder all over the vehicle. It coated the seats, the dash, the airbag that had deployed after he crashed, and the knife, which, as he'd been distractedly using it to mix the protein drink in his lap, had been propelled back by the air.
Random story. Since I can't say what I want to say, because probably YouTube will be like, no, that's offensive. One time we was in a car going to Wendy's. I was in the back seat. The bus company over here is called SEPTA. Yeah, that shit hit the back of the car I was in. Like technically, like it hit the side I was on too. It fucking flew me to the whole other side. I went from like the right side to the left side. Like that shit was wild. I ain't gonna lie. And now, granted, it might look like I raised up my left hand depending like one video, but my right hand is closer to my teeth. Oh wait, never mind. That is. All right, maybe how I'm looking at it looks weird, but yeah, random story because I can't say what I want to say about this nice guy right here because YouTube will probably be like,
Airbag and into his body, fatally. Luckily, no one else was injured.
thank God
Okay,
nobody else.
several takeaways from this story. 1. Don't mix your protein powder while you drive.
2,
2. Don't hold a knife while you drive.
3.
And 3. Always take your workout supplements with a liberal dose of common sense.
And 4. If you fall in love with a girl, make sure she's not a whore.
TikTok trouble. A lot of good things have come from the video sharing app TikTok, such as fun dances and wholesome viral stars. But
Also, a lot of brain rot, a lot of mental brain rot, a lot of degeneracy, a lot of lobotomized children. I don't know. I hate TikTok. I'm sorry. That's just me though. If you watch TikToks and all that, hey, power to you. I just watch.
it's also provided the catalyst for a lot of
I ain't gonna lie. When Trump was talking about getting rid of TikTok, I was, fuck that. I was right on board.
incredibly dumb trends, just for likes and views. Often, the more extreme these are, the more views they receive. But they can be so pointlessly dangerous, many of them have been banned from the platform. But back in November 2022, one wannabe TikTok creator went viral for all the wrong reasons. Deciding he needed to add a little edge to his next TikTok dance, a man from Texas, in all his infinite wisdom, decided to get up on top of an 18-wheeler and then began to record himself dancing while the truck was moving. The driver of the truck had no idea, and so he continued on his route as per usual. This included driving across Houston's US 59 East X freeway, a route with several overpasses. Other drivers soon noticed the TikTok terror, watching as he ducked down to avoid being hit by some of the overpasses. But he was too focused on his dance moves and didn't spot one coming up at speed. He was promptly knocked off the top of the truck and into moving traffic, which obviously he didn't survive. I want to say this was an accident, but part of me wonders if he started the video like, Darwin Award Achievement Check. Lord have mercy on this idiot. There are a lot of people out there who claim to be the
Actually, 7,000 years old. Honestly, I thought this was like a random fucking Tinder page. I was about to roast the living shit out of whoever this was. I was about to be like, yo, I hate females like this until I looked up. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I fuck. How did that saying go? It's like forgive them, Lord, or forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do or some shit. Yo, it's some shit like that, man. Listen, y'all probably don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all probably do know. It'd be like that sometimes.
Reincarnation of the big JC, Jesus Christ.
JC.
But none have ever definitively proved that they are, which is what one pastor from Zambia was about to change. Back in 2021, this guy promised to prove to his congregation that he was the reincarnation of the Son of God by recreating.
Alright, I'm gonna just make this real clear. I don't usually I joke about religion and all that, but the one thing that gets me upset in a way is that like people who actually claim to be God or some shit. It's like, bruh, that's something I don't fuck around about. And anybody who does portray themselves to be God, I mean, when you gotta go face to face with them, I mean, good luck with that one.
Creating one of Jesus's famous heavenly abilities. You assume he'd choose something with minimal risk, like turning water into wine or walking on water. No, of course not. He demanded his congregation bury him alive and then dig him up 3 days later, mimicking JC's famous resurrection. So as instructed, the church members dug him a grave, tied his hands together, and buried him. He remained there, as the good book said, for 3 days. And when he was exhumed on the 3rd day, something unbelievable happened. He was alive. He'd done it. He'd really done it. He is risen! He obviously didn't do this. The pastor did not, in fact, survive 3 days buried in 6 feet of earth with no air. Not exactly a surprise. And was very much stuck in the pre-resurrection stage. His congregation members were arrested, with several still on the run for their hand in this prophetical failing. If only he'd stuck to
I'm not gonna question nothing.
not turning water into wine. Copter chaos. When it comes to big dangerous machines with the power to tear people to shreds, very few people immediately think of helicopters. Well, if at least one more of them had, then they might still be with us. Back in July 2022, news outlets all over the world began reporting on a story from Athens, Greece, where a tourist was struck down by a helicopter rotor after getting too close to the blades while trying to take a selfie with the vehicle.
Yo, the amount of people in this video that are like, I wanna strangle them. Not, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. YouTube, I'm kidding. Please, YouTube, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say YouTube. I'm sorry. But yo, what I really want to say is I can't. But I just want to strangle these people.
The news outlets quickly ran
Not
with
really.
the sensational story, but it turned out that they were wrong about one key thing, and the real story was far more baffling. The tourist in question had been riding as part of a group on the helicopter and, after it landed, had disembarked with the others and was chaperoned to a nearby lounge safely. However, it was at this point the tourist, who appeared to be calling someone on his phone, left the lounge and made a sudden beeline back to the helicopter.
Why?
Without telling anyone anything. As he approached the still-running vehicle, ground staff suddenly clocked him, shouting for him to stop. But over the noise of the helicopter, he couldn't hear them, nor could he see how fast the rear rotor was spinning.
How do? How the fuck? You know, if something looks like it's going really slow, or it looks like it's not moving at all, 9 out of 10, it's moving so fucking fast your eye can't see it. Like, actually moving as fast. Like,
The pilot, who was wearing headphones, only heard the ground crew shouting right as the tourist made the unthinkable decision to duck under the tail section of the aircraft, but misjudged how close he was to the whirring blades and was fatally caught by the tail rotor. So it wasn't down to a seriously stupid selfie. But what the heck possessed him to go back to the helicopter, let alone duck under the tail and get that close to the blades? Maybe he'd forgotten something on the helicopter. Maybe he wanted to see the helicopter from the other side? Maybe. I don't know. I'm out of ideas. What do you think he was doing? Let me know down in the comments below. Gee whiz.
That's how I feel right now.
Manual labor is no easy profession. It's a lot of long hours where you're constantly on your feet, often at the mercy of the elements. It ain't for the faint-hearted or the smooth-brained, considering how many dangers you can find on an active site. Which is why this next guy's employment in the field shorted out, shall we say. Back in 2020 in Dehradun, India, a laborer for the Uttarakhand Power Corporation decided to take a leak. Because he was on the job, he figured he shouldn't go far, and so found a pole to relieve himself next to.
Why?
But this guy must have forgotten where he was and that he was working for a power company, because he chose a pole that was right next to an electrical box. As soon as he let the stream rip onto the box, a fatal bolt of electricity surged up it and through his body, frying him instantly. Well, whether you work for a power company or not, I think we can all agree that we're going to be checking where we whiz before we whiz from now on.
I was gonna make a joke, but I don't want to get canceled. But I'm gonna still say it anyway. Nah, yeah. It's not even that funny. I was gonna say I bet it smelled like curry when he got like shocked, zapped. Cause you know that's like an Indian dish.
Falling on hard times. When you're doing something as dangerous as canyoneering, the activity of exploring canyons, and California's aptly named Death Valley, having the right equipment isn't just advised, it's crucial.
Hell yeah.
Otherwise, you might end up like this next guy. Back in December 2022, having planned a solo canyoneering trip, our man went by himself to rappel down one of Death Valley's many canyons when he suddenly realized his rope was too short. Instead of admitting defeat and heading out of the park to find somewhere that might sell him a longer rope, he had a big brain moment. He could use a piece of webbing to lengthen his rope and make it down to the bottom. Now,
If y'all heard that cop car go by, my apologies. I mean, I do still live in the hood, unfortunately, so shit happens.
webbing is a sort of strap often used to secure things like backpacks. It's not designed to be used as climbing equipment. Nonetheless, he extended the makeshift rope and, happy with it, began his descent. However, when he reached the knot where the rope met the webbing, he had to briefly disconnect his rappel device in order to get over it. And it was here, while he wasn't secured to the wall or the rope thanks to his own harebrained design, that he suddenly fell 30 feet to his demise. At least now we all know how not to go canyoneering. Get it? Not? Like the knot he, Yeah, the dad jokes aren't going to get any better.
Look at Magic Johnson. Well, y'all can't really see it, but let me move it. It's kind of like a little funny picture of Magic Johnson. Look at him. Look at him. Ah, it's Magic Johnson. Oh yeah, I was up here more. Oh, well, I gotta fix my cam. Alright. We should be good. My shit should be all normal now.
They're the most stable part of my personality. Deal with it. Pour one out. Alcohol has a few properties that it's famous for. For one, it's a depressant, meaning it inhibits or depresses the response of the central nervous system, which is why you slur your speech and can't walk straight when you've had one too many. 2, at room temperature, it's liquid in form. And 3, it's highly flammable.
Hell yeah.
Now that last one is particularly important because people don't seem to understand just how dangerous that makes it near an open flame if not handled correctly. For example, back in July 2022, a man from Naples, Italy was
Naples. I remember, is that the same thing as Nepal, or am I, like, stupid? But I was thinking of that joke from Family Guy where God was like, it was like God and Jesus. He was like, you just can't call a place nipples. And he's like, Nepal. Don't know if that's the same place. They look alike. Not really, somewhat. I don't know.
having a barbecue when he decided to add a little fuel to the fire. Did he use firelights? Maybe a little extra paper or wood? Nope, this guy decided to pour alcohol on the flames.
Wow.
Here's a little science lesson for you kids. When a high enough proof alcohol in a stream meets a flame, it doesn't magically make the source of the fire any hotter.
Yeah.
It sets the stream of alcohol on fire. In an instant, fire had traveled up the stream of alcohol to the bottle it was being poured from, and the whole thing blew up in his face. The injuries he sustained were so severe, he didn't survive. But luckily, I like my tales of fatal idiocy well done. The Jägermeister.
I ain't never had Jägermeister.
Jägermeister is an herbal liqueur which, thanks to the 56 herbs and spices that go into making it, give it something of an acquired
Damn, 56 herbs and spices? Yo, that's low-key better than KFC.
taste. And by that I mean, I only like it when it's mixed with a Red Bull. I'm just classy like that. Still, at 35% alcohol by volume, it's pretty potent regardless. Well, over in a liquor parlor in South Africa, they decided to put the drink's potency to the test. They set up a drinking competition offering a prize of 200 rand, a little over $11, to anyone who could drink an entire 24-ounce.
What? I mean, granted, I know, like, the American dollar is... I don't know. Is it? I don't know, like, currency-wise. I know it's, like, it fluctuates in different countries to the point where, like, that shit is worth more over there than, like, certain shit would be, like, than their currency trying to, like, change it to American dollars type shit. Did that make any sense at all, or am I just talking bullshit? Like, if somebody from, like, Japan or some shit came over here and they try to transition, like, their fucking yen to, like, American dollar, like, I'm sure it's gonna be, like, the same equivalent value to that compared to what we see right here, where that's basically 200 rem, whatever he said, and then that's the equivalent to $11, where you'll be more richer if you take your American money over there because obviously it's worth more, essentially. I don't know how that shit works, but I'm just here to whatever. Why do I hear birds chirping? It's fucking like
Bottle of the stuff. It's unclear whether they thought anyone would actually be dumb enough to attempt the challenge or whether they assumed it just couldn't be done. But several men stood up to the plate. And not only did the winner down every last drop, he also did so in less than 2 minutes.
damn.
He was awarded his 200 rand prize when all of a sudden he collapsed on the floor. But he wasn't just drunk or asleep, he was gone. Yeah, here's something I assumed I didn't need to explain. Alcohol isn't good for you in massive quantities.
Well, obviously, but god damn, the fact that that man drank a whole bottle and then died. That's why I don't drink, bro. That shit is scary as fuck, low key.
It's a toxin which can build up in the blood and literally poison you. In general, your body can process about 1 unit of alcohol per hour. After one drink, your blood will have an alcohol content of roughly 0.04%. After 6 drinks, that'd be around 0.14%. At this point, vomiting is not uncommon. After 15 drinks with a blood alcohol level of 0.3%, unconsciousness is inevitable. But after consuming an entire bottle
I'm gonna take his shit was at like a 1.5.
of Jägermeister in just 2 minutes, our man's blood alcohol content would have shot up from 0% to around 0.44%.
I'm retarded. Can you even say that? I mean, I am. I'm talking about myself, so nobody can get offended.
A fatal dose. Oh man, I can almost hear the frat boy saying he could have walked it off if only he'd had a couple of Red Bulls to chase it with. Honorable mentions. Okay, so there have been some pretty solid attempts to join the prestigious list of Darwin Award winners over the years, but the idiots in question have tragically survived.
I ain't gonna lie, it's been a good episode. I'm not ending it right now. Obviously, we're gonna get through the honorable mentions, but this was actually a good video.
However, I'm feeling generous, so to make sure they don't feel left out, here are a couple of honorable mentions to those who almost made the list with some certifiably moronic life choices. To start, we head over to Russia, where back in 2020 an influencer decided to make their birthday a memorable one by inviting some of their friends over to a pool complex they'd hired out. They spent a little time in the sauna, and to ensure the water was extra cold for their post-sauna swim, the influencer had ordered 55 pounds of dry ice, which
Dang.
they then dumped into the pool. Okay, pop quiz. Do you guys know what dry ice actually is? No?
Ain't it
Well,
gonna freeze
neither
the
did
water?
the influencer. All they knew was that it was very cold, and when it met water, it produced a cool steam show effect, which would look great on their socials. But here's the thing. Dry ice is the solid form of carbon dioxide, which only stays solid at a temperature of negative 109.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Above this and without the right pressure conditions, it transitions straight into gas, without an immediate liquid stage. So
They turned that shit to a bomb.
dumping that much in a pool which was not a well-ventilated space released a lot of carbon dioxide, a gas humans famously cannot breathe. Several guests dived in and immediately began to choke. The influencer themselves and a few others managed to get out just in time, but 3 guests suffocated, including the influencer's own husband.
Damn.
Well, that's a birthday they'll certainly never forget. Although that's not the dumbest thing someone's done around a body of water. Back in July 2022, the chief minister of a North Indian state visited the holy Kalibine rivulet, marking 22 years of its cleansing. Despite its historical significance, the rivulet had once been a sewer drain, but more than 20 years of community rejuvenation brought the rivulet back to life. On the heels of a clean water campaign in the state, the chief minister was so keen to prove to everyone at this event that the Kalibine was both clean and safe, he grabbed himself a glass of its water and drank it down. I really hope I don't need to tell you, but just because fresh water looks clean doesn't mean it's safe to drink.
I think Bear Grylls said this shit. Just because it's clean, clear water doesn't mean it's clean.
Waterborne infections like E. coli, parasites, and raw sewage can contaminate even the freshest looking water sources, which this chief minister found out quickly. The next day, multiple media outlets reported that he was airlifted to a hospital with severe stomach cramps. He attempted to deny it, claiming it was a routine checkup, though I'm not sure how many people need an emergency airlift for a simple checkup. Something smells off, though that might just be the Kalibine. Ride or die.
Oh, man.
Now, I don't usually have favorites, but this next Darwin Award
Last time I'm pausing it because I got to take a piss, so we're going to fast fire through this.
is just, it's just lacking so many brain cells, it's unbeatable in my opinion. Back in 2015, a gentleman and his friend were visiting Cedar Point Amusement Park in Sandusky, Ohio. They decided to get their adrenaline fix on the Raptor, a steel-inverted roller coaster which whips riders around at a top speed of 57 miles per hour. As they were riding, our man in question realized his phone had fallen out of his pocket. Once the ride was over, he peered over into the restricted section and saw his phone lying near the coaster's tracks. Completely ignoring the big "Do Not Enter" signs, the fences constructed to keep people out, and the fact he knew the ride was currently in operation, having literally just been on it, our man hopped the fence and reached for his phone. To literally no one's surprise, he didn't even bother to check if another cart was coming, and so, as you probably guessed, he was struck by an oncoming cart. Yep, that's got to your Darwin Award if ever there was one.
The brain damage.
Which of these winners did you
Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. This is a long video. I'm gonna drop another one. I'm out. I gotta go take a piss. All that good stuff. Yep.